How do I start my camera?
Civil service, teacher say, student say, businessmen say, market women say. Never say. Thank you, Jesus, for giving us the governor of the people. Godwin Obaseki, that is taking Edo people, developing Edo State to the next level. Thank you, Jesus, for giving us the governor of the people. Godwin Obaseki, that is taking Edo people, developing Edo State to the next level. 4+4, Togba, Edo people say, Togba, Akoko Edo say, Togba, Eko say, Togba, Esan say, Togba, Isako say, Togba, Igwebe say, Togba, Oba Oka say, Togba. Thank you, Jesus, for giving us the governor of the people. Godwin Obaseki, that is taking Edo people, developing Edo State to the next level. Thank you, Jesus, for giving us the governor of the people. Godwin Obaseki, that is taking Edo people, developing Edo State to the next level.
Hello, everyone. Hello, fam.
At Pizza Hut, we're delivering socially distanced deliciousness.
Happy Sunday. How's your day? How's everybody? Thanks for coming on live with me today. I just want to show you my environment, and I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm showing you this later. You see this block of flat I'm showing you is in the heart of London. This place was opened about 3 years ago, and it took them about 2 years to construct it. This is a block of 400 flats. 400 flats. And it has about over 1,000 people. Before 400 flats. 400 flats. And it has about over 1,000 people. And before this housing estate was here, it was an abandoned place. It was all abandoned. It was feed. I remember years ago when I used to drive through the road in the front, because I'm at the back now. There was the railway. There was some abandoned office blocks. And even you couldn't even stop for a minute to reverse your car. Because I remember an event that I had to stop because I was going out and I was called to come back home and I had to stop. I was scared to even stop on the road in front of the plot because it was an abandoned plot. But about 5 years ago, this plot was bought by a group of private investors, and they decided to build about 400 flats in here. They did that not just because they were wise investors seeking for opportunities, looking for best business to put their money in. They also did it because they wanted to improve the life of the people in their community. I remember them 5 years ago, there was issue of housing crisis because the government was not building houses anymore. The last time government built houses in London or in England as a whole was during the Margaret Thatcher era, because the houses the government had that time, they sold them off to private people. Tenants were in it because the government felt that it was a liability running such business. So they sold them off to individuals. Then after then, they didn't deem it fit to build any more houses. So after a couple of years, there were housing crisis, especially for people who were on low income. So the only way they could address it was to ask private individuals to go into estate business. And they could only do that by creating enabling environments. They made policy that would make it easy for private investors to come in and develop estates, what they call developers here. So people were able to become private investors, and they were able to build houses. So this one here is in the heart of Southeast London. It's a very popular place, very close to the stations. Actually, this area, like I said, was an abandoned place, and they were able to bring life back to it. You know, they developed it, brought the people in here, and it's a thriving community today. Although we are seeing it it's a very lovely place. I've seen it from the back. The front is something else. If it's in the front, you see shops, businesses. The reason I'm showing you this, I'm trying to explain the fact that government cannot do everything. Government cannot be investor. Cannot invest in every area of infrastructure in any economy. So we'll come back to this later. Thank you. Who is online? I see one person online. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. I know this is the first time I'm going live. Yeah, and this is going to be a very interactive section. So whoever is there, please feel free to send in your questions, and we'll talk about it. Today, like I said, we want to sell our products. We want to sell and try and market our candidates. And as you all know, if you've been watching any of my videos out there, you will know that I'm a pro Obaseki. I'm supporting Obaseki now. So I'm here to say to you today the reason I'm supporting Obaseki. You know, first and foremost, before I do that, I am going to tell you the reason I'm not supporting the other side of the divide. So I'm going to try and analyze and analyze the other side of the divide, the people who they have there. Today I'm going to be talking about the main sponsor of APC, Mr. Captain Osa. Hello, who is there? I see someone there. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Feel free, like I said, feel free to ask any question. Feel free, say hello if you are there, and just tell me where you are joining us from and what you want to, and you can put in your contribution anytime. We are not here to fight. We are here to discuss. They say, like they said, the election is not war. As Zegbina. This is the time as a community we should all be coming together and discussing as a community, finding out what is our needs as community, and trying to choose a suitable representative, somebody that will represent our needs in governance. So like I said, the reason I say the other side of the opponents, they don't mean well for Edo State, our people. I'll start with Captain Osa, who the news is out there in the media, and we hear that he is the major sponsor, is the major funder for Pastor Eze Yamu's campaign. And I want to tell you people that we shouldn't be fooled. We should not be mumu anymore, because he doesn't mean well for us. Because if he mean well for us, he won't be waiting till election time for him to come and be flaunting his millions up and down and using the money to deceive our young people, our youth out there, instead of him improving on their lives. According to the Minister of Finance, Minister of Transport, sorry for that, Minister of Transportation, Minister Amechi, he stated last week that he had to stop a contract that Mr. Kaptiosa has been handling due to mismanagement. And they think that he's not even suitable. His company is not even suitable to handle it. And the fact that he wasn't even authorized to handle such projects. And apparently that he's been siphoning money. That business he was actually earning over $17 million monthly. And apart from that, Captain Osa is also rumored that there's also news out there that says that he, out of the 6 oil wells we have in our states, he's in control about 4 of them. So I could say such person like Captain Osa is a person of a huge and gross wealth and resources at his disposal. That is why I was showing you my environment earlier. Today in Edo State, except if it's so far from my findings, I cannot pinpoint to any major thing Captain Osa has done in our communities, in our state, Edo State, to contribute meaningfully to the life of our people or our youth. Like I showed you earlier, this estate I showed you, if Captain Osa, if he has 4 or 5 of them in different area location in the state, I would say he hasn't got enough, because he has the means, he has the resources. He's a wealthy man. He has 4 of our oils from the oil well in our state that he's controlling, that he's drilling oil for. But instead, he waits till election time and bring out his million and share it, send 10,000 to our youth in the streets, so that they can intimidate and bully other electorates like them. Instead of him to use his words to enrich, to empower our youth and make meaningful impact in the life of our people, he's using that word today to come and intimidate us in Edo State and bully us. He's using it to fund talks, who they are going to be using in this coming election to perpetuate violence and thuggery and ballot snatching. And such person will say means well for our state. He doesn't mean well. So for that, for him being the main sponsor of Pastor Eze Iyamu, I will not vote for him, because I know that they don't mean well. That is the main reason Eze Iyamu should not be given the opportunity to go to become the next governor of Edo State. Because they said, show me your friends and let me tell you who you are. All we see in Pastor Eze Iyamu camp today is him surrounding himself with people who are known to perpetrate crimes in our community, in our states. Touts, talks. Those are the people he's surrounding himself with. And we know that those people, they don't mean well for our states. So therefore, Eze Iyamu doesn't mean well for our states. His sponsors don't mean well for our states. They have every opportunity to finance, to improve, to finance projects that will improve on the life of people in our states. They have not done so up to now, but rather they wait till election time to start financing talks. And people who are ready to perpetuate violence and disrupt our election processes. So for that reason, they are not fit to rule. Pastor Eze Iyamu is not fit to be a candidate. If you even assess him and evaluate him even further, apart from the fact, like they say, show me your friend, let me tell you, the fact that he doesn't even possess the skill, but that we will get to in a minute. So like I was saying, that the reason we shouldn't be voting for people who are not fit to be governors or be in charge of our resources is because of the history we as Edo people face. This same set of people, if you look back into their political history, you see that when they had the opportunity, they were in government, as especially the main candidates. He was a party leader. He defrauded his party of over 700 million. And the case is still pending. But yet he was given the ticket to run as the next governor of our state. In an ideal world, in a society where the rule of law is superior, he shouldn't have been given that ticket at all. He shouldn't have even been nominated because he's not eligible at all. He's not fit. Because his reputation is questionable. His level of integrity is questionable. Then, beyond that, he surrounds himself with people who also have questionable integrity, who cannot even be accountable, for how they've accumulated their wealth. Yet, they are asking to become a leader or a political holder who will be in control of our resources. It's not done, it's unheard of. Governance is not a joke. To hold a political office is not a joke. You need the required skill for you to be able to manage the state resources. And you also need that integrity for you to be able to resist temptation that comes with it. Because once you get to that seat, the power is in your pen. You are the first executive officer of the state. If your level of integrity, your moral values are not high, you will find yourself bending under pressures and misusing and mismanaging the resources alongside your allies and your cronies that you take into that place with you. So for that reason, people with questionable character are not supposed to even be selected to start holding public offices. In our state, that is what you see today. It's like a garbage in, garbage out. They are either unskilled, unqualified, or their level of integrity is questionable. Somebody who has over 700 million, and because they are still in court, the outcome of that case is already predictable, that that man is as guilty as the word guilty. Yet, he has the audacity to come out today and contest to say he wants to be president, and he wants to be the governor of our state, surrounding himself with people who also have the same questionable character, questionable integrity. Their level of integrity is zero, nothing to write home about. Hence we say no. You are not fit to rule. You are not eligible to be a candidate. How much more the governor of our state? Because the skills that is required of you, you don't possess it. Has any of you recently seen the CV of our state governor? Reading through it, you will really understand the kind of pedigree, his pedigree. You will really understand why he has achieved so much. He has distinguished, Obaseki has distinguished himself in all his achievements. He has distinguished himself in all that he has achieved in the states in the past 3.5 years, because he has the skill. I can say where I am standing, I candidly say that his pedigree is of those from Harvard, like our prime minister, the one we will have here. He is even more qualified than the Prime Minister of UK as I speak to you. His kind will be those that they will call to manage Western economies. And we are so lucky to have somebody like him today. And we are not ready to lose him. Left for me. When everybody say, I know my household, my husband and my children, they laugh at me whenever they'll say 4 plus 4. I always say 4 by 4. And they'll say, what do I mean by 4 by 4? I say, it's 4 times 4 is 16. Because I see beyond the next 4 years. I see that we need people like Obaseki to continue to manage our states, the affairs of our state and the affairs of our nation, even. I'm still yet to see anyone that will beat Obaseki. The kind of skill he possesses. That is why you see he's achieving so well. He's achieving so much because of his skills and his abilities. He knows how he's an investor. He's managing our state as if he's managing his private business. He's previously in all his activity, all the businesses he has managed till date. He has succeeded in it. That is why we are benefiting from that skill. Edo State is benefiting. He is a futuristic governor. When you hear him speak, things he proposed, his developmental strides, they are not only addressing the problem of today, but they are addressing the problem of tomorrow. Beyond tomorrow, up to 30 years time. He has a 30 years plan for Edo State. And every step he takes today is towards achieving those plans in the next 30 years. He's not going to be there in the next 30 years, but he is expecting that every person, every administrative officer that comes into that position tomorrow will walk in his footsteps so that we can achieve that 30 years plan. And here you see people coming out with their simple agenda that they cannot even develop beyond the words of simple. You ask them what the simple agenda means, they don't know. For me, it's equivalent to looting agendas. Because looking at this, your bedfellows, people you are congregating with, they have no relevance, no skill. And if you look at it very well, it's even an insult for your own party to produce somebody like you to even compete with the pedigree of Obaseki. What is it that you know? All we hear is you have a poultry you've been running for donkey years, and we haven't seen anything. You haven't brought anything meaningful into that community where you have that poultry. You haven't developed beyond where you are. The poultry has remained dormant. Same you want to come to the state and use that your same management skill that you could not even use to take beyond your community. You want to use it to come and manage Edo State to produce what? Garbage in, garbage out governance? It's not possible. We remain firm. Because every day, everything we hear, if you look at going to the social media and see what Obaseki has done, don't come here and insult me and tell me, no, Obaseki will not come back. We don't tell me the reason you don't want him. We are not quarreling. It's election. Say your candidate. Say your candidate, I will say mine. My candidate, I think is first class, and I think yours is rotten tomatoes. Come prove it to me that your candidate is not rotten tomatoes, and let's discuss it. I am promoting a candidate that has been there for the past 3.5 years, and he's performed evidence-based performance, and I can see it. I can tell. People on the street are talking and speaking about it. The impact has been felt by the ordinary man on the streets. So if you are selling your candidate to me, you must tell me the reason I should be voting for him instead of my preferred candidates. Because I am yet to see any. All I see is him surrounding himself with miscreants and scavengers who are waiting with Ghana must go in their hands to go back to Sadebe Avenue and loot. Surrounding himself with funders, people who had resources to make meaningful impact in the life of the common ordinary Edo person for the past 4 years, even in the time of lockdown when palliative was really needed. Show me one community these people went to and made an impact. All I can see today is you are coming out with your millions to buy cars to those leaders, to those few selected leaders you know that go to the street and recruit touts and talks for you to perpetuate violence in the next coming election. And you expect me to cast my vote or any of my family member to cast your vote for you? Never. To Fiakwa. No going back. We are not going back to that Egypt where we are coming from. In the years past, I could testify. I lived in a street where a former governor was living as at the time he was in administration. The road that passed through his front of the house, there was a big hole there that anytime you drive through that hole, you either your radiator or either boxed or your exhaust is either cut off. It was in front of his house that road was passing through. That governor was still on seat as a sitting governor for 8 years. And he was part of that governor. That governor did not deem it fit to even tie that road. It was other way many, those who means well for the life of Edo State. Other people were in the street that were coming to heap gravels on it, on that spot. The first rain that come will wash the gravel away. This man was a sitting governor. I don't want to say the name. We've all got our history. Everybody remember. I don't really need to say the name, point fingers now. That's not why I'm here today. But do you know that same governor, a day to the last day he was getting out of office, the 4 flats that was in that plot was brought down, was demolished. And lo and behold, all we saw was a mansion behind that 4 flats. And that road was not still tied. It still did not repair that road. He still never deemed it fit to repair the tied road in front of his house until his predecessor, the next governor, came in, who now graded the road and tied the road. So I tell you, some people, they become governors for their own selfish gains, selfish desires. to satisfy themselves and satisfy their fellow party faithfuls, people they call party faithfuls, that they have to compensate them. I hear now that some of the talks they are no longer inspiring to be Agberus anymore. They are inspiring to become the next commissioner of our state. I mean, commissioner of what, for God's sake? Somebody that you will write the alphabet, the first alphabet in his name, he cannot even pronounce it. He doesn't even know when he started primary 6 and when he ended primary 6 when they asked him. He said he's inspiring. God forbid, not in my time. That would be my worst nightmare. That an Agberu that doesn't even have a primary 6 certificate to present is inspiring to become a commissioner, because that is what they do. Once they get in there, they give positions to party faithfuls to compensate them, to compensate their participation during the election. And then at the end of the day, all you see is underachievers. You become a commissioner, 4 years, you have nothing to show for it, what your department has done to improve the department you've been given to oversee. Because it's all garbage in, garbage out governance. Because you were put in that position, not because of the skills you have, not by merit, but because you are partly faithful. Please, if you come here and tell me who you want to vote for, feel free. It's a free word. We are all free to choose whoever we prefer that we want to vote for. But all we are saying is we do the right thing. Don't vote for somebody because of stomach infrastructure, because of what you stand to get today, because of the 10,000 they give to you today. At the end of the day, if you divide that 10,000 by 365 days times and divided by 4, again 4 years, they are not going to it's not going to be up to even 2 naira a day. When otherwise you would have cast your votes for that person who sees beyond your immediate needs, who is ready and willing to invest in your today and in your tomorrow, who understand that building roads, providing lights, providing an enabling environment, an environment that is free from intimidation, that is free from criminality, is all providing an enabling environment for businesses to thrive. If I give you lights, if even it's a tailoring job you are doing, or a hairdressing salon, you will thrive so well, because whatever income you are getting from that business is going into your pockets. You are no longer using it to buy fuel to power your generator. If you are a carpenter, you need lights to make your furnitures. You don't no longer need to go use all your gains and earnings to power your generator. So that's why I say, when you please vote and vote wisely, use your conscience, do the right thing. Let's try and see beyond today. Let's try and look into the future. Whatever we do, let's do it to say Edo of 30 years from now. Bring your simple agenda. Tell me what it's all about. Break it down. Let me understand. If you are telling me my candidate is not doing so well, tell me where he needs to improve. Don't come and tell me because you called him, he did not respond to your call, your personal call. Then you are personal in your excuse. He's not there to serve you alone. He's there to serve every one of us. If you are telling me that he did not build hospitals, or he did not do roads, or he's not thinking of bringing light, improving on lights, then I will listen to you. I will listen to you. Then I will bring my evidence for that and say, this is what I've seen he has done. Have you seen it or not? It might be that you are not aware. So, like I said, election is not war. I say, Bina, we are not here to fight, but rather to plead to your conscience, to awaken your consciousness, and to make you start thinking and see beyond your today, and be futuristic in your thinking. Listening to Obaseki yesterday during the Diaspora's Zoom meeting, my heart gladdens when I saw that everything he's proposing to do are all futuristic developmental projects. Telling me how he intends to improve in our digital connections, because we need to bring our businesses and our economy into the 21st century. And without those things, technology, we are still backwards. And he's hoping to improve it. Trying to take us forward, move us forward, but not take us 20 years back or even 30 years back. He's moving us forward. He's trying to move us into the 21st century. And we are struggling that we don't want to go there. By those few who are only interested in their stomach infrastructure. Please, every one of you should endeavor to go and listen to his agenda, his mega agenda. And you will understand where I'm coming from this evening. That he is the futuristic governor. We need to listen to him. And we need to support him. If Edo must move forward, we need people like him who has that mind, who has that vision to take us from where we are to where we ought to be. If other subsequent governments had performed the way Obaseki had performed, I think we would have been beyond this point by now. By now, I wouldn't be asking Obaseki to be tying roads for me. I would be asking him to be building community centers or health centers. If other subsequent government has done it 20 years ago, I will be asking him now the same development we see abroad. Housing estates like this, I will be asking him. Asking him how he's hoping to build small businesses, how he's hoping to support small businesses by giving them loans, low interest loans. I will be asking him that. I will be asking him how we are going to improve, take our economy to be matching, to be in alignment with Western economy. That is what I will be asking him. But I cannot. Because he came in and started on empty slates. He is having to start with empty slates. So now we have to be patient with him. And let him do the main thing, set the foundation right by giving us those main infrastructures, which he has dedicated his time in doing in the last 3.5 years, and he's going to continue it. He's promised in his mega agenda promise, he's going to continue doing it. So I say, my people, please vote and vote wisely. Our tomorrow depends on today. The decisions we make today is going to determine what our tomorrow will be. 30 years in Edo, 30 years time in Edo will depend on the decisions we make, me and you make today. Please, my brothers and sisters, let's vote and let's vote wisely. So we'll be back again to continue this conversation I thank you for those ones who were able to join me today. And I also thank those who will be watching the videos as we post them. Thank you. You are free to make comment. Like I said, let's be civil with our comments. Let's be civil in our conversations. We are not here to fight, but rather we are here to discuss. It's like being back in school, debating, or during the entire sports. So I say may the best win. Thank you. 4x4. Talk back. Thank you.